This is Chapter 7, Part 4 of The Manipulated Mind by Denise Wynn. To return to the contentious topic raised a moment ago, hypnosis against will. Andrew Salter is not the only one to believe in hypnosis as a method of manipulating behavior in a way that goes against the grain. George Estabrooks, who also equated hypnosis with conditioning, has waxed lyrical in books such as Hypnotism and The Future of the Human Mind, about fantasized possibilities of programming assassins. And there are those prepared to say that Sirhan Beshara Sirhan, the killer of Robert Kennedy, indeed was one. Walter Bowart quotes two experts in Operation Mind Control. Dr. John W. Heise Jr., president of the International Society of Stress Analysis, studied Sirhan's psychiatric charts and interviews and his performance on the PSE, Psychological Stress Evaluator. He concluded Sirhan kept repeating certain phrases. This clearly revealed he had been programmed to put himself into a trance. This is something he couldn't have learned by himself. Someone had to show him and teach him how. I believe Sirhan was brainwashed under hypnosis by the constant repetition of words like, "You are nobody," "You're nothing," "The American dream is gone," until he actually believed them. At that stage, someone implanted an idea, kill Robert F. Kennedy, and under hypnosis the brainwashed Sirhan accepted it. Similarly, Dr. Herbert Spiegel, a medical expert on hypnosis, it's very possible to distort and change somebody's mind through a number of hypnotic sessions. It can be described as brainwashing because the mind is cleared out of its old emotions and values, which are replaced by implanting other suggestions. This technique was probably used with Sirhan. From my own research, I think Sirhan was subjected to hypnotic treatment. Whatever the truth of that, years earlier, Morris Allen, head of CIA's Project Bluebird, established in 1950 to investigate agents and defectors using mind control means, had initiated his own experiments into the possibility of hypnotizing people against their will and programming assassins. The experiments were documented in a long series of memos to which John Marks gained access and referred to in The Search for the Manchurian Candidate. Having undertaken a 4-day course in hypnotism with a stage hypnotist, Allen set about hypnotizing CIA secretaries and getting them to steal secret files and pass them on to people whom they supposed were total strangers, to steal from each other and to start fires. In February 1954, he simulated the creation of a programmed assassin. He hypnotized one secretary and told her to fall asleep and stay asleep. Then he hypnotized another secretary and told her that if she couldn't wake her friend, she would become so enraged that she would kill her. He then left an unloaded pistol near at hand. Even though the girl had professed herself terrified of firearms, she did shoot her friend. Afterwards, she blocked out the event from her mind and swore that she could never be made to kill anyone. Allen didn't run away with the idea from this success that he had succeeded in finding the means to program assassins. He felt far from sure that he could repeat his success in any less experimental setting. To quote Marx, all he felt he had proved was that an impressionable young volunteer would accept a command from a legitimate authority figure to take an action she may have sensed would not end in tragedy. She presumably trusted the CIA enough as an institution and Morris Allen as an individual to believe he would not let her do anything wrong. The experimental setting, in effect, legitimized her behavior and prevented it from being truly antisocial. An experiment of Martin Orne's serves to confirm Allen's reservations. Hypnotized subjects were asked to throw a beaker of acid into the face of one of the people present in the laboratory during the experiment. The subjects had seen the hypnotist drop a coin in the beaker and had seen it dissolve, yet they did fling the acid at the person. The setup of the experiment prevented actual harm from being done. It would be easy to conclude that hypnosis is indeed powerful enough to force people to act against ordinary judgment. However, Orrin showed that hypnosis was not the essential ingredient in the act. He carried out the same experiment with non-hypnotized subjects, and they acted in exactly the same way. What was proved was not that hypnosis can cloud judgment, but that entrenched ideas of obedience to authority, as was seen in Milgram's experiment with electric shocks in Chapter 2. The subjects had accepted the role of subjects, and all the compliance with experimenters' authority that implied. In an article published in The Manipulation of Human Behavior, edited by Biderman and Zimmer, Orrin discusses his view that hypnosis cannot induce people to act against their will, because the hypnotic state is dependent on the positive relationship between the hypnotist and subject and their wish to cooperate. All the studies that he had investigated of people being hypnotized unawares, for example, when a therapist gets the patient to relax but is really using hypnotism without using the word, or of being hypnotized against their will, seem to depend for their success on the relationship that had been established between the subject and hypnotist. The only 3 cases of real criminal acts involving hypnotism that Orrin said he knew of, and where the people concerned claimed they didn't know they had been hypnotized to commit those acts, all involved an intense emotional relationship between hypnotist and patient. All cases of attempts to induce antisocial acts by hypnotism where the hypnotist and subject had never met previously failed. Merleau has another explanation for why antisocial acts committed as a result of hypnosis only seem to be contrary to will. There are many antisocial desires lying hidden in all people. The hypnotic technique, if cleverly enough applied, can bring them to the surface and cause them to be acted out in life. And that ends part 4 of chapter 7. And I will see you in video number 5. We are reading from The Manipulated Mind by Denise Wynn. See you there.